Yo, what's good, YouTube? In today's video, I'm giving you guys the new top 5 meta loadouts here after the season 2 reloaded update. So if you enjoyed the video, let's break 200 likes, subscribe, notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so for our first gun here today, we're gonna be jumping into the Cypher 91. This is pretty much your new #1 meta assault rifle. You guys definitely want to be using this thing. Have this thing leveled up because you're really not going to find anything else that's going to be statistically better than it now. The Model L got nerfed. This thing got a pretty nice buff, so it's definitely taking over the #1 slot. First thing here is going to be the optic. We're going to go in and show you guys a few optics you can use because it does come down to a little bit more personal preference in the optic section, not as much the other ones, the other sections. So Kepler is going to be a great one to be able to use. I know some people like using this Volzinski reflex. I probably just butchered that. Other people like going for the Q spot reflex. Those are 3 great red dot optics you guys can use. One of my personal favorites is going to be the Kepler red dot. I really enjoy running this on so many of my different assault rifles. I think it's great with the 1.25x magnification. It just works out really nice. You can change the dot on it to be like cross or something like that if you want to. I think it's pretty solid. You can also go down here and use pretty much the Jason Armory 2x, and then at maximum, I'd say the Willis 3 times. So these are basically going to be your top options that I would suggest for you guys to use. For this particular build, I guess we're just going to go and throw on the Willis 3 times since this thing has basically no virtual, no visual recoil. So it's going to be really easy to use at some decent distance. Muzzle section, we're going to go throw on the compensator, and this is going to help us out that overall vertical recoil control. You guys definitely need this. It's not like it got a buff to the point where you don't have to run a compensator. You definitely still have to run this, so go ahead and slap that bad boy on there. Barrel section, we're going to throw on the gain twist barrel. And I will say that the gain twist barrel is actually really effective at getting us out a 40% increase to our overall bullet velocity, getting us out to 1134 meters per second. I like that quite a bit, honestly. Going down here, you can even run the reinforced barrel if you want to get a little bit more damage range. And of course, you almost touch 1,000 meters per second and bullet velocity. So realistically speaking, you could probably go with either or, but the gain twist is most likely going to feel like it's going to hit harder just because of the increase in bullet velocity. Your shots are going to register faster as everything in Warzone is pretty much a projectile, especially at the ranges where to be using this thing. So this will make more sense for it to hit harder. So go ahead and run this and try out the reinforced barrel if you want to, but otherwise the rest of the ones in here are not going to be beneficial. All right, bro, we're going to go down and throw on that vertical foregrip. This is pretty standard, helps the horizontal recoil control. You guys definitely should be running this. And then lastly, the magazine section, we're going to throw on extended mag 2, which is going to get us to 60 rounds in the mag. I am a 60 round mag kind of guy, so I really enjoy having the 60. You guys definitely should be running this, and that's gonna be my full Cypher 91 build. Thanks to U4GM for sponsoring this video. They're a professional Black Ops 6 service provider that specializes in cheap gift packs up to 50% off. They also specialize in easy camo unlocks and max level along with bot lobbies, and you can even use code Chuck at checkout for 5% off. All right, next up here today, we're gonna be getting into a build for the KSV. This is a really solid SMG I quite like using, so you guys definitely should be using this thing. It's something I've been using in my more recent videos. I just enjoy running it quite a bit, even a little bit more over that C9, which actually got a bit of a nerf today. So we're gonna hop into it here. First thing, we're not gonna go for an optic. We're not gonna go for a muzzle. We're gonna go straight for the barrel. We're gonna go throw on the long barrel to increase out our overall damage range as far as possible. I really enjoy this because it pushes out to almost 20 meters, which is really solid. I think that's super awesome. And the bullet velocity is more than adequate for what we're gonna be using it for, which is close range. So you guys definitely don't need to run the reinforce or the gain twist or anything else like that. Just go ahead and run the long barrel and you'll be perfectly fine. At a barrel section, some people like to run the vertical foregrip just because this has been on ground loot and they feel comfortable with it. I personally am not as much of a fan of that. I just want to go for the Ranger foregrip just because it still helps with the horizontal recoil, which is very minimal to begin with, but it also gives me that sprinting movement speed. And the primary reason I'm using this thing is just because it's fast. I really enjoy having a fast SMG with low recoil and great mobility, so I enjoy having this on there. Magazine section, we're gonna go down here and throw on extended mag 2. This is just gonna help us out with 50 rounds in the mag. No reason to run extended mag 1 on this thing. You just want to go for extended mag 2. The cons are totally worth it. This is a decently fast firing SMG, so I feel like I would run out of those 40 rounds pretty quickly. It does help to have extended mag 2, and also the reload speed is really not that bad. So this is a great option. Rear grip section, we're gonna go down here, throw on that ergonomic grip. What this does is just helps our slide to fire, dive to fire, and ADS speed. We don't care as much about that dive to fire because we're not diving a whole lot, but slide to fire is huge considering I slide cancel around a lot. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are going to be slide canceling, and of course having the ADS speed. It's kind of when you have like slide to fire and ADS speed, it's almost like having slide to fire, sprint to fire, and ADS speed, because like that slide to fire kind of works in tandem with it. So it is something that if you have a really trash slide to fire, you're going to be feeling it. So you want to make sure you don't have that, and this is going to make sure you do not have that. Stock section for our final attachment, 2 options in here that are really good. Infiltrator stock, this is going to be my preference on what I like to use personally. I find this to be awesome. I can really strafe back and forth like an absolute madman with it, so it's pretty good. And then the balance stock is the other great option. It still does give you that strafing movement speed and the aim blocking movement speed, everything like that, but you get 4 pros instead of just 1. But this will do the one thing better than the balance stock. Balance kind of gives you, the best of all worlds, and you get a little bit less aim blocking movement speed. So kind of up to you guys which one to use. I'm gonna go for the infiltrator, and that's gonna be my full KSV build. All right, next up, we're gonna get into an Amy's 85 build. This is gonna be next up, rating into an Amy's 85 build. This is a really solid assault rifle, very low recoil, great bullet velocity. It's gonna be really solid to use, especially with the meta right now. So you guys want to be using this thing, having this thing fully leveled up. Optic section, I'm not going to go into this and kind of explain it, because the same thing that applies to the Cypher, it pretty much applies to all the assault rifles. You can kind of get away with whatever optic you want to use. I just gave you guys great options to use. My preference, I'm just going to show you guys, this is going to be the Jason Armory 2X. I really like running this. I think it works out great for resurgence maps because I primarily play, of course, Rebirth Island and Area 99. So for me, this works out great. If you want something a little bit farther, go for the Willis 3 times. But other than that, you really shouldn't be needing anything past the Willis 3 times for the range of an assault rifle. If it's too hard to see with the Willis 3 times, then they're probably way outside of your effective range, and you shouldn't be popping shots off at them. So we're gonna go for the Jason Armory. Muzzle section, we go through on the compensator here as per usual. That helps with that vertical recoil control. It just does exactly what it should, so there's no complaints there. Barrel section, we're gonna go through on that gain twist barrel. We really like this because you can see your damage at effective range, which is basically your damage profile you're gonna be the most effective at. Before that first, sort of damage drop off, that is still 51 meters, which is pretty crazy without having to have on like a reinforced barrel or a long barrel, something else like that. This still gives you 51 meters essentially, and that is great. So we don't really need to have an increase in damage range. We just need to increase our bullet velocity, and so the gain twist will do that, pushing us out to almost 1100 meters per second. So this is going to feel very, very hit scanny. It's going to allow to beam people out the sky, and you will have your shots register first or faster than anyone else, even if they're using a reinforced, or especially if they're using a long barrel. Your shots are going to register way, way quicker, with this barrel. So go ahead and run this. And that's pretty much my only suggestion, not to go for the reinforced. I tried this. I don't think it hits as hard as the gain twist does right now. So go ahead and throw that on there. Under barrel, we're going to throw on that vertical foregrip here. Gives us the nice little 3 arrows for that horizontal recoil control, which is super awesome. And then lastly, in the magazine, extended mag 2. No reason not to go for it. 60 rounds in the mag. You don't know what I'm about to say. So we're just going to go ahead and throw on the 60 round mag. Call it a day right here. And this is going to be my full Amy's 85 build. After that, I'm going to show you guys a build here for the C9. This technically did get a bit of a nerf, but it's still going to be really solid. You guys kind of know how nerfs work. They don't really end up like taking a gun fully out of the meta. I remember there's some guns in Warzone 1 where it literally took them like 7 nerfs to make the gun bad. So we're actually going to go skip the optic section, of course. We're not using that. You can throw a muzzle on here, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But we're going to go straight for the barrel. We're just going to throw on the long barrel, which is going to push us out to 15.8 meters. I think this, before the update, gave us about 18 to 20 meters, somewhere in that range. It might have been about 20. So they definitely nerfed that. So it's not going to be as effective at longer distances. Puts it basically more in line with all the other SMGs. So it's not like it really got a bad nerf. It's still going to feel very good. It's still going to hit like a truck. So you're going to be fine. It's just going to have a little bit less range. So we're going to throw on the long barrel here just to make sure we are fully taken care of. Underbarrel section, pretty standard. We're to go through on the Ranger foregrip. This is what I run on every single SMG. There's not a better underbarrel attachment or even a better attachment in general to substitute for an underbarrel. So we just go ahead and run the Ranger foregrip. Magazine, we're gonna go throw on extended mag 2. I will say I've had a lot of time using extended mag 1, and that does work out very nicely. So you guys could definitely go for that, and that would be perfectly fine. But extended mag 2 is going to be a little bit better for, I think, the mass majority of people to have the extra rounds in the mag. It does come in handy when you're playing trios and quads. If you're playing something like solos, you can probably get away with running this. I'm not gonna lie, I was using this in quads and it worked out fine. So it's kind of up to you guys which one to use. I've since though moved over to extended mag 2 as my primary magazine attachment of choice. Rear grip, we're gonna go throw on that ergonomic here as per usual. Slide to fire, guide to fire, aim down sight speed. You guys know the drill on that. And lastly, in the stock section, which I'll also show you guys, by the way, something you can replace the stock with. Infiltrator is going to be a great one here to be able to use, and the balanced stock is going to be actually my preference on the MP5. Well, the C9 MP5, basically the same thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. So this is going to be my choice. I like to go for the balanced stock. I think the Infiltrator still works perfectly fine. If you want to go for that, you know, it's up to you. And if you want a little bit more aim walking movement speed, you still, of course, get the aim walking movement speed, but I do enjoy having the extra pros with this gun in particular. It just feels a little bit better that way, so I'm gonna go ahead and run that. If you guys don't want to go ahead and run this and you want a little bit more recoil control, take off the balanced stock, go into muzzle and throw on the compensator, and you guys will be perfectly good to go right there. Try either of those builds out and you'll be perfectly fine. Lastly, I want to show you guys a build here for the Compact 92 because this got a nice buff today and it's going to be really, really effective. I'm looking forward to using this thing a lot in Warzone because I enjoy the Compact. I like having a super fast firing SMG, but it just didn't hit as hard as it should have. So now with the update today, it definitely should. First thing though, we're going to go straight for that barrel section. We're going to go throw on the long barrel. There's no reason to go down here and use really anything else. This is actually pretty cool though. That gives you that integrated suppressor barrel, bullet velocity and damage range, which is pretty nice. But the long barrel itself actually does a little bit more. So if you guys want to lose 0.6 meters of effective range, and also there's no cons to it, then you guys can definitely go ahead and do that. It's probably not going to be that bad of an idea to test out. But overall, the long barrel will technically be the most meta thing to run on this gun. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Underbarrel section, of course, the Ranger foregrip here. So don't got to explain this one too much. You guys know what it does, but it is great. I'd run that every day of the week over the vertical foregrip. There's no real reason to run a primary close quarters SMG with the vertical foregrip. It just doesn't make sense. We're gonna go throw on the Ranger foregrip. Magazine, we're gonna throw on extended mag 2, not extended mag 3. This will slow you down a little bit too much, in my opinion. I don't like that as much. I like extended mag 2. 50 rounds is definitely more than enough. That's more than adequate for an SMG. Basically, for an SMG, you always look, maybe you go from 30 to 45. So when you get out past 45, it's kind of like anything else after that is great, and that's just a little bit extra on top. So having 50 is perfectly fine, and it works out well because the fire rate of this gun is so high. So go ahead and try this thing out. If you feel like it's not enough, go ahead and run the, the extended mag 3, but I promise you extended mag 2 should be enough. Rear grip, ergonomic. I'm not going to explain this one. In stock section, you're either running the Infiltrator or you're running the balanced stock. In my personal, opinion and testing, I actually enjoy running the balanced stock more, but the Infiltrator and the Balance are going to be your two options to run here on this gun. So go and try that out. This is my full build. That's been my top 5. You guys enjoyed it? Give it a like, subscribe, notifications turned on. Check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.